Lemon juice is one of the most acidic things you can put in your mouth. And at the same time, it's one of the most beneficial things you can put in your body. Because what a food does inside your body after digestion has almost nothing to do with how it measures on a pH test before you eat. Lemon converts to a compound inside the body that actually reduces acid load. The chemistry flips completely. This is why most nutrition advices misses the point entirely. Today we explain what actually matters. Welcome to another episode of the RESPIRA Series. My name is Dr. Carlos Torres. I'm a specialist in otolaryngology, sleep medicine, and obesity medicine. And I'm here with Dr. Diego Rutenberg, a specialist in functional medicine doctor in functional medicine. And together we are building a program called the RESPIRA program for the optimization of health through four main pillars that includes sleep, nasal breathing optimization, nutrition, and supplementation. Today, we're going to be talking about nutrition and what impact that this has at a acid-based balance level, and how we can optimize our nutrition in order to improve our physiological processes.
You know that many people try to debunk the lemon juice hypothesis, saying that the stomach is extremely acidic and it's going to compensate when you eat something that is very acidic. And then when the food moves through to the next chamber in the small intestine, everything is the same. So what do you think?
I mean, I think that you are the expert in GI, you know.
So with that intro, you know, it's fascinating how it's not about
but it's actually
it's not about the external pH.
Absolutely,
of the food,
it's really the processes that happen once that lemon's juice is broken, what determines what it's going to convert into, and that happens with a lot of foods. You know, there's something called the system of the PRAL, the PRAL level, that it's basically an estimate of what acid impact that a particular food is going to have on your system, okay? And it has nothing to do with the acidity level outside of our bodies. It is after it is digested and, you know, once those different components are released into the body, how much impact that has on that pH balance.
You know, that's fascinating because I've been doing microbiome analysis testing for more than 15 years. And the technology has changed, and now we can understand what actually happens in the biochemistry of the microbiota, what your probiotics are doing with the food you eat, you know. And it is incredible because the vegetable-based diet, kind of a vegetarian-based diet. I'm not talking about without animal proteins, but a balanced diet. It would result in the fermentation of these substrates and the production of butyric acid, which is the fuel for the digestive cell. When that is absent, meaning that, or because the microbiota goes down, and the butyric acid goes down, the digestive cell, the colonocyte, gets inflamed. And then the body has to start compensating with the pH, which is one of the things that you always talk about, how the body compensates for inflammation.
Exactly.
So it is very clear that we require specific nutrition to keep the microbiota functioning right, so the cells of the digestive system are not becoming chronically inflamed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the main elements that we're missing in medicine. You know, we doctors, we don't get trained on nutrition. We don't understand nutrition. And certainly nutrition, you know, is the fuel for our body. okay? And it's the fuel that is going to dictate how our body is going to respond in many different ways. You're mentioning, the impact that a high protein diet has in causing inflammation in the body through, how it affects the microbiota. So this goes into such, a specific level, that we many times miss. The information that we get is more focused on how nutrition can help us lose weight, for example, but we don't understand how when we disrupt normal physiological processes in our body, that might actually lead us to gain some weight. So it's not about the calories necessarily or the macronutrients that we are ingesting, what's going to dictate if we lose the weight or not. It's going to be more about, how our body is behaving and how it's kind of like falling into the right balance so that we can normally start losing that weight in a natural way.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, there are people who might suit better a more like a high protein diet, and they might be tolerating it. And there are societies in this earth that they are actually purely vegetarian.
Absolutely.
But the general rule is that we try to analyze how this person, is reacting to this particular nutrition.
Yeah.
And the idea is that in our program we'll design the tools to try to analyze that in every patient.
Absolutely.
And try to design or understand what is the perfect nutrition for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a matter of changing habits. I mean, that I'm sure that many, I mean, you obviously, you've been an athlete who's performed at a very peak level for many, many years, but most people, they go through this JoJo of going up and down in weight. They have tried all the different kinds of diets, and they might lose the weight because they're reducing the amount of calories, but they are not fixing the physiological process that once they get maybe to a goal and start eating a more regular balanced diet, allows them to keep that weight off. We actually see that now with the introduction of medications such as the GLP-1s, receptor agonists, and these type of medications that have had a huge impact in the weight loss and in the way that we manage obesity, that there's some people that they don't lose too much weight. They don't have the same impact. And that a lot has to do with the environment in which these drugs are working, okay? Again, going back to...
You mean that the same drug would impact a person in a different way based on their let's call it physiological health or biochemistry?
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
Exactly, because these peptides, the same way with hormones, the environment in which they are acting dictates a lot how effective they are in their function. So if there's an acid state, an inflamed state, the effectiveness of these type of drugs is not going to be the same.
So before you deliver the treatment, in this particular weight loss treatment, optimizing the health might be a good thing. The nutrition, it might be a good thing.
Optimizing the entire environment of the patient, which includes, proper nutrition and change of habits, Now, there are cases where these medications do help a lot. And one of the main things that we are seeing with this type of medications is that people lose the weight because they're working, they're very effective. But because they did not fix that environment in the first place, once they stop the medication, automatically they regain the weight back. And that's one of the main complaints that there is with this type of drugs. And, the management of obesity, actually, now we hear from bigger pharmaceutical companies that, this is a chronic condition and we definitely have to treat it as such, but that the recommendation is to continue on these medications for life. And the reality is that shouldn't be the goal, right? It is good to use them as a tool to help us lose the weight, but the goal eventually is to keep that weight off in a more natural way. And that is achieved through proper nutrition.
So the nutrition can be a way to optimize not only everybody's health, but people who are in need of a condition of a medication like that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. So this has been a great conversation, Diego.
Keep it going.
We certainly have developed the tools to tailor nutrition in a way that is going to optimize people's health, but with a focus on a type of diet that reduces the acid load in the body to help these processes, to happen in a more effective way.
Excellent.
Okay. So
Thank you for having me.
No, great conversation. See you in the next one.